Okay, so first of all, I'll just go over a little bit what is first phosphate for the new viewers, and then I'd like to go over some really exciting new things that are happening politically here in Canada, which make this phosphate here in Canada finally recognized and a source of North American phosphate for LFP batteries. So we are igneous phosphate. It's very different than the phosphate that you find for fertilizers. We have nothing to do with fertilizers. We're not interested in the fertilizer markets. They're commoditized. We're interested in a source rock, this very pure igneous rock that makes a lot of phosphoric acid. About 100% of it almost goes into phosphoric acid, which is really the holy grail. It's where the big price shock is going to be because it's what we need for lithium iron phosphate batteries, which are now almost 80% of the batteries out there worldwide. If you look here, this was about a year and a half ago. It was 67% of the batteries in the world were LFP. The LFP battery is very versatile. Doesn't have the same issues with fires like you have in nickel, manganese, cobalt batteries, and it's now becoming the battery of choice worldwide. Let's even forget about EVs, which are 10% of the market, but it's an all battery energy storage for hydro dams, solar, wind. It's now a big thing is the robotics and onshoring of industry back to North America, back to Europe. All that's going to be automated. All that's on LFP batteries, data centers, crypto data centers, all of that needs regulated power on the way in. It needs to store its power. All that's on LFP batteries. Everything that is, small mechanization of, things like wheelchairs, scooters, robots, all this is all moving on to LFP battery. And then, the commercial transportation, if you go into China, for instance, all the commercial transportation buses in the big cities to decarbonize the cities is all 100% on LFP battery. And then the last sector is kind of EVs. So anybody who's all grumpy about EVs, saying Trump doesn't like EVs, big deal. It's only 5-10% of LFP. There's such a massive market out there that you're missing if you're just thinking EVs, which is all those sectors that I just explained to you, which is, energy storage, robotics, small mobility, AI data centers, and a number of other applications, and even defense. The big thing here is this phosphoric acid. This is kind of the phosphoric acid that we have in the world right now. This is what they're saying we're going to need just in the Western world for LFP battery. Obviously, they're coming in very tame. It's really going to be like this. When you look at the energy transition, copper is obviously the biggest product that we need, biggest critical mineral, but look at number two, it's phosphoric acid. And everyone's still lost in lithium or talking nickel or whatever else, graphite, but look at phosphoric acid. Time to wake up. There's not a lot of many plays in the phosphate or phosphoric acid sector, and there's still very few, none that are fully integrated and fully focused on LFP battery like First Phosphate. We're probably the only ones in the world to be fully functional, vertically integrated from mine all the way to the production of phosphoric acid to LFP cathode active material and fully focused on the LFP battery and with a resource that is 100% sort of almost made to measure for LFP battery. Our secret, again, is this igneous rock, right? It's igneous rock in Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean, Quebec, which is very rare. The sedimentary rock that you'll find in, southern US or Morocco or anywhere else. This makes a lot of good fertilizer grade acid, but this really makes the stuff that's really required for LFP battery. That's the secret. And if you look here, first phosphate purity in the world of what's P2O5, which is really the phosphate content, it's almost 100% pure phosphate. And because of that, we can make a lot of purified phosphoric acid. This is the deposit at Baie-Jean-la-Marche. This is 2.6 kilometers wide. This is like a big gravel pit. It's an open pit mine, which is going to be a very small mine in the process. There's a $2.1 million NPV on it. The capex for it is about 500 million US. It's a 2.8 year payback, and we've already proven that we can make phosphoric acid with it. We've done this together with the world's leader in purified phosphoric acid, and that's Prayon out of Belgium. And for this, just to give you an order of magnitude, and I'll use EVs, even though, like I said, I don't think that we really pertain to the EV industry. This deposit that you see here, 2.6 kilometers wide, and we've only gone down 300 meters. We could go down another 1,500 meters, and it's all open at depth. This is what they do in Russia. They go very low. But just with what you see here, not even 10-20% of what the full deposit might be, we can electrify 50% of the fleet of vehicles being produced in North America for the next 25 years. Now, what does that mean? Between Canada, USA, and Mexico, there's 12 million vehicles produced per year, roughly. We could electrify 6 million of those with enough phosphate for LFP battery. And that equates to about 350 gigawatt hours per annum. So very, very important deposit for all of North America. The other great thing that we have is we're right in here in what is the Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean area of Canada, of Quebec. If you look here, this is Quebec City. A little bit further down is Montreal. We are only sitting 2 hours north of Quebec City. I mean, we're not talking about lithium claims in James Bay or Hudson's Bay. We're kilometers from the nearest 1,000, 2,000 from the nearest rail station or road or whatever it is. There are very good logistics in this area. This valley here is where most of the aluminum comes from for all of North America. This is Rio Tinto Valley. This is where Rio Tinto has its installations, all its hydro dams, where it transforms bauxite into aluminum, and then it's sent down to the heart of North America to make vehicles, et cetera. So all the logistics are already there. We're in the exact same footprint as Rio Tinto. We're 40 kilometers from Rio Tinto's major installations in Alma. This is where the mine will be. And the mine is 50 kilometers from the intermodal station, truck to rail, and 70 kilometers from the deep sea port, where we will get a portion of our offtake off and over to Europe. We have definitive offtakes with Europe, and that's for the phosphate, and that's also for the second transformation into phosphoric acid. These are definitive agreements, and we are only at the PEA stage, just to show you how important and strategic this resource has been identified. Half of our resource that will be mined will be offtake, and the other half is going to stay here at the port of Saguenay, where we have the technology from Crayon Technologies to process into purified phosphoric acid. So you're really looking at a company that's got two massive NPVs, one at the mine, which is 2.1 billion, and then you've got another one of just over 2.1 billion US. That's almost over 50 years, and that's an IRR in the 40%, and that's for making purified phosphoric acid with a process that's been in place in the Western world, in Belgium, for over 70 years. So massive potential here, and you've got a company that's trading at $30 million market cap. It's not even 1.5% of the NPV on our mine alone. And you're going to say, well, what's wrong? Well, what's wrong is the markets right now. What's wrong is the mentality of the people in the markets. We all think that things are not possible. We all believe that the markets are broken, but you know what? It's been last couple of years been throwing out the baby in the bathwater. It's time to go through all of that and kind of pick up the. And I think if people do their homework, they'll see, wow, what a fantastic story we have here. And we're on the course here to be built out by 2029. Another 2 years for a feasibility study, and another 2 years for build out. And we have major institutions ready for that build out. We're just getting through the feasibility stage. We're starting into it now. We're starting into it very carefully, and we hope to be built and supplying our by 2029. So again, just to summarize, we start here at the mine, phosphate concentrate, turn it into phosphoric acid at the port of Saguenay, and then make it into LFP cathode active material. Major partners on board: Crayon of Belgium, American Battery Factory in Nevada, who's willing to take up to 40,000 tons of LFP cathode active material from us. Just so you know, that's almost $1.5 billion of product. Export-Import Bank of the United States is at the table, willing to finance it because it's so strategic to North America. It's been identified as a strategic resource by the Department of Defense in the United States. The Glencore company is willing to provide the sulfuric acid that we need. Full collaboration agreement with our indigenous group in the area, and that are also going to be coming into the capital structure of the company. They already own 1% of the company. A strong support from the Quebec government, Investissement Quebec, and GK and Hoganese, the world's largest producer of iron powder, is going to be processing the magnetite, a secondary recovery from our mine, and setting us up the iron that's needed to make LFP cathode active material. A number of very strong partners locally and internationally here as well. We've always met all of our milestones, and like I said, very tight share structure. Management and board, we own about 33% of it. I've personally got, I think, over $1.5 million into the company. Our board and management continues to buy shares in the open market. I've bought about 600,000 shares during December to May of this year, when everybody was, scared of, Trump and tariffs and all this stuff. I was like, wow. So I just came in and I bought a lot of the shares, as did a lot of our board and our management. Most of our board and management, we get our compensation in shares. Why? We want to own more and more of this company. We have a view, and we're committed, and we're going to take it to its logical conclusion. So that's 33% right there, board and management. Another 33% is our high net worth and family offices and institutions. First Nations is 1%. Then the public float is about another third. And like I said, the market cap is sitting right now at $30 million, which I think is very good in this market. I mean, this market has been absolutely beaten up. To still have a market cap that's above 5-10 million is amazing. I think it speaks well to what we've been doing at First Phosphate. We've got 20.2 million invested in the company so far to date. We have a small private placement that's ongoing right now. It was originally set up for $1 million. I think we've crossed the $2 million mark. We've got that's all mostly from existing shareholders. We're trying to keep it very tight. We're very selective of our shareholder base. If there's any interest, please let me know. I'd like to know a little bit more about your family so that you can join our family. We are really a family here of investors, and everybody's deeply invested. My door is always open anytime anybody needs any questions or anything it might be. And we like to know our investors well, and we like to work with them and work with your expertise to help us to grow. This is our management team, very cross-functional. And what I wanted to show you here, just to end off, and this is very important, I wanted to show you what's happening in Canada. It's really important to understand. We had an election in Canada. You might have heard all the jokes. Our last Prime Minister Trudeau didn't get along well with Trump and 51st state and all this nonsense. But since then, we've had another election. The Liberals are again in power. The Liberals government. They have again a minority government. But the party with which they were leading last time, which was this NDP party, here you can see, they don't have many seats in the parliament, and they don't have official party status. So the Liberal government now in Canada is going to have to govern, in a sense, with what is the Bloc Québécois. For those who don't know the Bloc Québécois, it's a Quebec-centered party. It's a party that really wants to grow Quebec, and so they only run candidates in Quebec. Okay, so they're very focused on anything that's Quebec. Bloc Québécois spent a lot of time understanding phosphate. They're very big on phosphate. They think it's the next big critical mineral for Quebec. They want to see Quebec projected into North America with very strong industries, just like we've done with our hockey players, with our aluminum, with many other industries. So they really want to see the growth of phosphate. And quite frankly, the Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean region of Quebec, there were two industries. There were aluminum, which is now hit by tariffs, and there's also the forestry industry, which has been under a lot of pressure. So we have got really good, hardworking people in Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean, a great industrial base, and we need a new industry, and that's going to be First Phosphate. So I want everybody to see here, before I finish off, what happened during our election debate. So our election was held almost a month ago. And during the leaders' debate, there was the four leaders: the Conservative Party here, the Liberal Party here, the NDP here, and this gentleman here from the Bloc Québécois, the Quebec-centered party. And the host asked him a question about, what do you think are the next critical minerals in Canada? And watch what he answers. And I hope everybody can hear this. Let me know if you can hear this.
Monsieur Blanchet, it is.
Yes.
Can you guys hear that? Okay.
Yes.
So the host is asking Monsieur Blanchet, who's the chef du Parti du Bloc Québécois. Okay, let's hear what he has to say.
Your turn to get the first shot. Canada has a substantial supply of critical minerals, which are in high demand. Are you in favor of allowing these minerals to be mined?
Of course. It has to be done properly. Quebec has probably the most important clean phosphate reserves in North America. In Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean, it is very important. It has to be exploited. This is the best way to use Paul Saguenay as an infrastructure that we need. We have lithium. Everybody needs lithium. Transportation has to be taken from oil to clean energy. This is what we want to be working on. It is part of the specifics of Quebec economy. So we are in favor of.
So when you hear that, what I want to do is I want to take you back up to our presentation here, and let's go back to see what he was talking about. So he said phosphate, phosphate, and he said Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean. This is Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean, and he talked about Port Saguenay. So when he's talking phosphate and he's talking Port Saguenay and he's talking electrification, there's really only one company that he's talking about, and it's First Phosphate, right? So, in this next legislature, the big thing on the campaign trail was also, Canada exporting to Europe, Canada being less dependent on the US. Okay, Canada critical minerals. We've got all that. We've got phosphate. We're right here, close to Port Saguenay. This is where our infrastructure is going to be. The other thing is, what did I say earlier in my call? We've got definitive offtake with Europe, right? Definitive offtake. And Port Saguenay, just so you know, it's a federal port. It's not a provincial port. It belongs to the federal government. So this is exactly what all the political parties have been talking about. It's the first time that they agree on anything. They agree on those things. They agree on critical minerals. They agree on federal lands. They agree on exports to non-U.S. Clients. So we're there. So put one and one together from what you saw in Monsieur Blanchet's little preamble there on the debate, and that the political tailwinds are behind us. But not only the political tailwinds are behind us, it's also the tailwinds of what everybody thought was going to hurt us, President Trump. Okay, so President Trump doesn't like EVs. Who cares? It's only 5% of LFP, but what does President Trump like? He wants onshoring. You will not be able to onshore U.S. industry without some form of robotization and automation. Why? Well, you think our kids are going to go back and make Nikes in a factory? I highly doubt that. But the robots might, and they might know how to manage robots. So managing robots, managing automation is going to be big for onshoring. And it's not only in North America, it's going to be Europe too. And all of that runs on LFP battery. And if you see, whenever there's the U.S. and the trade war, and this is even started with Biden back in November and December, stop sending you chips. We're going to stop this and that. What did the Chinese come back with? Well, we're going to stop sending rare earths, but also we're going to stop sending this crazy thing called LFP technology. And everybody went, what? What the hell is LFP technology? The Chinese recognize this, that LFP and LFP technology to make batteries is a key technological driver of industry. Okay. And we're realizing that too now. So the ability to have LFP technology, but also LFP input materials in North America is going to be a key driver of our ability to re-onshore, of our ability to industrialize. So we're sitting here in the Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean, Quebec, with the proper mineral to make the phosphoric acid, to make the LFP, inside of First Phosphate, which is a company that's got access to that, is building that mine, is building the phosphoric acid plant, and is building the ability to make LFP cathode active material and taking care of the whole supply chain in North America. All the tailwinds are behind us politically, and also President Trump has done the best possible thing to Canada. He's given us a good kick in the butt and said, guys, it's time to get yourselves in gear. It's time to build your economy. So I couldn't be happier as an entrepreneur in Canada. Finally, we're going to start to get some respect, and get some real strength behind us to actually build and do the job that we have to do, which is to build jobs, to build economy, and to build proper market caps for investors. So that's it. I'm going to end off here a little bit early. Please feel free to ask me any questions. And I hope we'll see you as investors in First Phosphate, PHOS, Peter, Harry, Oscar, Sam on the Canadian Securities Exchange, KD Null on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange, and FRSPF on the TCQB.
Yeah, excellent presentation, John. Everyone is welcome to submit questions via the chat or the Q&A. So far, there's none from the audience, but from my side, so how do you envision First Phosphate's role in the evolving LFP battery economy over the next 5 to 10 years?
The whole thing, we're absolutely central to it. You won't be able to kick it off without First Phosphate, because where's the phosphoric acid going to come from? We're not going to take it from people's mouths from the fertilizer industry. That wouldn't be politically palatable. So you need a new source of phosphate that can make a lot of phosphoric acid for LFP batteries. Well, that's what we got. Igneous rock, Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean, very rare. It's the only spot you'll find it in North America and the world, even more rare than lithium, even more rare than gold. So we're central to that. Not only that, but we're going to process that into phosphoric acid and into LFP cathode active material. And until you have that LFP cathode active material to be able to make your cells in North America or in China or in Europe, you're completely beholden to China. And I think these guys keep talking all day, don't they, that they don't want to be beholden to China. So this is the solution.
And what's your long-term strategic vision for building a vertically integrated supply chain?
Yeah, so it's exactly what we're doing. We're building along three sectors. It's the mineral at the mine, it's the processing into phosphoric acid, and then it's the processing into iron phosphate and lithium iron phosphate to make the cathode active material. And then it's about having really strong supply relationships into those who make the battery cells and the battery packs and the LFP end products in North America. We've been doing this for 3 years now, Matthias. We're the furthest ahead, I believe, of any company in North America, and we've done this because we had a strict focus. I've learned that very early in business. You have to focus on one thing and you have to do it right. And we've been strictly focused on this LFP battery supply chain from cradle to grave, if you will, from mine all the way to production of the battery cells.
And in terms of partnerships and collaborations, how do your current partnerships are helping to accelerate your development timeline?
Yeah, so obviously, you know, for the phosphoric acid with Prayon of Belgium, we have technology that's been in use for over 70 years. It's a wonderful piece of the European economy there in Wallonia and Belgium. All that technology is at our disposal to be able to produce this phosphoric acid in Canada in a way that's we know is commercial. It works. This technology is licensed all over the world. So that's on the phosphoric acid side. Then on the iron powder side, working with GK and Hoganese, the world's largest atomizer of iron powder in Tennessee. They're going to be taking in our magnetite, and they'll be sending us back iron powder to make the iron phosphate and the lithium iron phosphate cathode active material. And then we work with Altian out of Nevada, who have the technology for making FP and LFP, that's iron phosphate and lithium iron phosphate. They were actually one of the first producers of LFP in North America before it all went over to China, and now we're trying to bring it back. So we're working with the best of the best. We want to be, you know, a cream of the crop organization, and we want to work with the cream of the crop. And that's exactly what we're doing. And we're trying to work with the cream of the crop that have commercial processes, that know what they're doing, because we don't believe in any of this pilot and bench nonsense. And, you know, the university work is fine, but we want to work with processes that are proven, that we can scale quickly, because it's about getting the market. It's not about playing around in a laboratory.
Okay, so you already have excellent partnerships. And how do
real world partnerships, real world. Not Mickey Mouse.
How do you evaluate potential new partners or offtake agreements, or are you all set now?
Look, in our verticals, we are quite set with our partners. We're always looking for new ones. We are in discussions with other ones as well. Like I said, the partner has to be real, has to be revenue driven, has to be in production, has to be part of the real world. There are some, like, I still have a lot of respect for, you know, research work. I think we need all that. We do have some small research partnerships here and there, but only things that we see that can be commercial and viable very quickly. But we're quite set up. The company is just really about execution now. It's about moving down the track. We got 2 years to get our permits in place, and then 2 years to get our facilities up. We need to be up by 2029 because we've got definitive offtake of almost $1 billion around 2029. Why would we want to miss out on that? We're perfectly set up. It's like, you know, we've gone through a lot of storm. It's been 3 tough years here in the battery market, and it hasn't been tough because of us. It's been tough because of everybody else around us. All these absolutely no sense that have all gone bankrupt. All the investors are all upset. They don't want to put money into anything anymore. And so we just had to ride that out. You ride out that storm. You let everybody else go down to the mermaids and the Medusas below and the Krakens. And now, you know, the couple ships that deserve to keep sailing are sailing, and the skies behind us now are clear. The skies in front of us are clear. We got tailwinds. We got the politicians finally able to support it. We've got the industry really coming along, and everything's going perfectly in the right direction. But you know, that's what makes the real companies, is being able to survive those really bad periods, and coming out ahead. And now we're a leader. We're a major leader in this space, and no one's going to stop us.
Okay, so you're well positioned. So from an investor side of point of view, what kind of key milestones can we expect in the next 12 months?
Yeah, so then over the next 12 being into our feasibility study. Expect, the government involvement, from both sides of the ocean, European and North American. Expect us to be a real bringer together of industry and of government towards a major project that's going to benefit the Western world. So you're going to see every day, you're going to see a new brick coming in together, and how this project becomes more and more real every day. We get through our feasibility study. We'll get through our feasibility. We'll be moving forward with the feasibility study at the mine and also at the phosphoric acid plant, and slowly just making all that real. Within 18 months here, we should have a lot of this stuff finalized and be able to start into build out. That's a very aggressive timeline. We've been a very aggressive company. We've done everything that we said we're going to do until now. Everyone said it's been impossible. Now everyone's saying, wow, these guys are actually setting the new course for mining. And within 18 to 24 months here, we should be through all of our environmentals, all of our feasibility, and ready to get some, breaking ground.
Perfect. And are you financially all set for that? So what's your position on how would you allocate the capital as you progress through the next phases of development?
Yeah, so right now, the feasibility studies, there's some upfront capital for that. We're looking into non-dilutive ways of doing that. Right now, we're out on a very small raise for moving forward our first part of our feasibility study. That's already well oversubscribed. That's going to be closing in about a week here. If there's any interest from anybody, let us know. And then we're also working with the governments for non-dilutive capital to come shortly as well. So we're just going to be, it's like, how do you bite off an elephant, or how do you eat an elephant? It's one piece at a time. That's what we've done to date. We keep, take a piece, we do what we say we're going to do, take another piece, do what we said we were going to do, keep going, keep going, keep going. But I can tell you that now I feel like, we're coming down the other side of the mountain. I really do.
Okay. So there's a good chance that you will finish eating the whole elephant. And we talked a lot in the past about ESG. Now with Trump in charge, ESG is not playing a big role anymore, but still in Europe it is. So what's your take on ESG, and how do you engage with ESG and the stakeholder engagement?
I mean, look, we got the cleanest phosphate in the world. We're able to recycle the gypsum that comes off of that into plaster and wallboard. It doesn't stack into these big piles like it does in many other countries of the world. We're very concerned around, clean, doing right by our local societies. We're very concerned about, even just recycling materials is good on costs. We're all about circular economy. All those things I think are just standard business practices. I don't know why we have all these heretics talking ESG or no ESG, coal, no coal, gas, no gas, batteries. What we're doing is we're establishing a business that's really required. It is a business that works towards decarbonization, so I feel good about that. We're not fanatical about any of this, but we're definitely, looking to be sustainable. We're looking to be inclusive. We're looking to be all these great things, but it just comes naturally to us. It's not something we have to be out there, promoting and like a Bible or something. We're doing all of that stuff. We're doing all that we can, the best that we can. We work with the technology of Prayon, which is the cleanest in the world. We work with MECS, which is sulfuric acid. It's the cleanest in the world. We're working with Rapid Wallet of Australia. That's the cleanest in the world. And all of our mining facilities, we're going to do our utmost to keep those really, tight, clean, and new machinery. It's amazing the technology that's out there. You just buy into the latest technology that it's all clean. The whole world's going that way. Preaching
Okay.
about
So
this.
it sounds you're well on track, and the time is already up, but I let you have some few final words for investors. Why should we all invest?
Yeah, look, I think it's time to come out of the bomb shelters. I think we've had a couple bad years here in the markets, and good, bad, or ugly. Everybody had a hard time, but I think it's really time to start looking at the proper projects. And I only ask you one thing: just really go onto our website. All the information is there. We do a really good job on our website. Have a look and think, is this a company that you want to invest in? Is this a company that looks real? I've got $1.5 million of my own money into this. The board and management owns 33% of it. You come into our family, you're here with us. And we're looking to build something. We're looking to make something happen. I don't start a business to for stock pumps. We're looking to build a business. We've been doing that for 3 years, and come back 2 years from now, and there'll probably be permits. 2 years from now, hopefully there'll be a mine, and there'll be production facilities, and we work every day. We work with the cards that we got, and I really think the tailwinds are in our favor now. Finally, you know, we're unshackling the entrepreneurs and letting the entrepreneurs do what they got to do, which is build businesses for this society.
John, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Sehr angenehm. Okay, guten Tag.